there, sooner or later, is going to say that this hangout on there is live. Present to everybody. And close out that window, kill you. And I guess I could kill you too. I don't know if I'm going to kill you. And so yesterday, I decided that I wanted to practice some F sharp. And so I did some live coding and I decided that I was going to start working on code for an imaginary app called Get a Ride. Okay. And well, maybe that's too complicated, right? Maybe we should just say Get Ride, the Get Ride app. Okay. Now, where I left off at was making this test pass right here, providing location and destination results in a ride. And well, we should probably use the right terminology. It's no longer a location, it's a pickup. And so providing pickup and destination results in a ride. And so we have a passenger, we have a view model that we inject the passenger in the ride query in. And well, hell's bells, now that I think about it, we probably don't need to have a separate value called passenger. We could just probably say mock some passenger in here. Okay. And so our view model dot pickup is some location. Okay. Our view model dot destination is some destination. And once we have those fields populated, we can execute a request command. And this is where I was stumbling yesterday because I was coding for like 2 hours straight and my mind started to tap out. Is and essentially in MVVM, when you do test-driven development, the way that this works, right? And this is also an interview question that I ask candidates that they get wrong. Usually they don't understand the question, which means that maybe I'm saying the question wrong. I don't think so though. Anyways, in MVVM, model view view model, when you're doing test-driven development, one thing that I think people are still confused about is unit testing. Unit testing doesn't have to be by the book, right? Unit testing doesn't have to be that you're testing some unit of code in isolation, right? That's open to interpretation. I don't have to test some method that's exposed publicly and test that completely independent of the other public methods that may depend on it. Like, why? Why? Well, that means I'm just testing an implementation detail. And I don't care about implementation details. I care about the actual overall behavior because that's what matters. Okay. Implementation details, that's better left as abstracted, right? So I care about the behavior, right? And so I think a lot of people, they get confused because they think that when you're writing a unit test that you're unit testing all these individual units that make up some type of operation, and you're unit testing all these in isolation. And well, okay, even though that might fit the definition of a unit test, that doesn't really help out the intent of the problem that we're trying to solve. Or translate it, that doesn't really assist or support our intent. Okay, the intent is to build some working software, period. So maybe I should just say automated tests. Whatever the case, that's exactly what we're doing. We are basically within MVVM, model view view model, we are having a set of properties on a view model, right? A view model will also usually have a command or a set of commands. You set the properties on the view model and then you execute a command. In this case, we set the pickup property of the view model, the destination property of the view model, and then we execute the request command of the view model. Then we want to verify that executing that command mutates a property to something that we expect on that view model, right? So if we set pickup, if we set destination, and we execute a command called request, then we expect that the execution of this request command should mutate the value of the ride property on our view model. So pickup, destination, we set those, we execute, we should get a ride as a result. Okay. The ride is going to be of type option, right? So we're either going to have some ride or we're not going to have a ride at all. And, if I rerun this test, this is good therapy, man. If I rerun this test, then it should go green, and it is green. Yo, okay. So yesterday, when I was defining, shoot, what just happened? Yesterday, when I was defining this app, I was saying that this code or this app would be heavily inspired by domain-driven design, right? We have our app.foundation, and then we have a different domains of this application. We have the portal domain, and we have the ride domain. The portal domain is basically when you hit the landing page, and assuming that you already have your account created, then you have your view models, you have your domain, and another library that can be added in here, but it's not necessary at this point, is a data gateway. This data gateway is actually responsible for communicating with the outside world, right? External systems. So this request, well, that's ultimately going to rely on where am I at? That's ultimately going to rely on this query, right? This query we injected as a dependency. That's my dog shaking. This query we injected as a dependency. Hence, within our setup, we have this mock ride query. This mock ride query basically implements our ride query type. It's a function type. And if we look at that function type of ride query, it requires a passenger, a pickup, a destination, and it's going to return a ride option. That being either we're going to have a ride option, or either we're going to have a ride, or we're not going to have anything at all. That's what this option is right here. Okay. Now, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this function signature right here? Ride query. It takes a passenger, it takes a pickup, which is a location. All right, if we drill into pickup, this is pickup right here, a discriminated union of either your current GPS coordinate or some address that you want to be picked up at. What's wrong with this? What is wrong with this ride query, right? We're assuming that this ride query is going to interact with the outside world. Okay. If this ride query is going to interact with the outside world, then this may be okay. This may be okay. My dog's collar is starting to distract me. The signature may be okay, but I think it can be enhanced and can be improved to something that is more transparent to the way that systems behave. Hold on. I'll be right back. This dog is making too much noise. Cookie. All right, I'm back. So, threw my dog outside, so I no longer have to hear her. All right. So, what I was saying is this ride query. This might be okay if this was pure. If this was controlled, if this was within a controlled environment. Hence, if this was basically pure domain logic, but it's not. This ride query is actually dependent on IO, right? It's going to depend on external systems. I mean, more than likely. So a better way of representing this function type is a ride query is going to take a passenger, it's going to take a pickup, it's going to take a destination. Okay, these are still valid, right? This passenger, pickup, and destination, these are still valid, but I'm not so sure that this is the right type we should use for what we return. Because this is doing IO, it should really return a result that, if successful, is going to be a ride option of some or none. And if it's not, then for right now, we'll just return a an error message in the form of a string. And yeah, I know this probably should be consistent. And yeah, okay. Okay, it probably should be consistent. Well, all right. So up here, let me let me do something real fast. If I'm going to define a error message as a type, then this probably should belong in a new library that we create called, come here, Willis. We're doing .NET Standard, right? And then this will be called core, okay? And do I need to say, yeah, we'll call it get ride.core. Get ride.core, okay? This get ride.core, this is going, we're going to call this common, and say module get ride dot core, okay? And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that. And so this module is going to have a type called error description, maybe error message. We'll call it error description, and it's going to be error description of string, okay? All right, so now what? Well, if we go back to our operations, for our portal.specification, we should now reference our core, get ride.core. And now this string should be a error description that we still have to import the namespace of. Okay, so that's added right here. So our ride query is going to take a passenger, a pickup, a destination. And because we're interacting with the outside world, hence the external system, this can be error prone. All right, we should recognize that whenever we do IO, we should recognize that it's totally possible, totally feasible to not get anything back because something's broke, right? Because we don't have that in our controlled environment. We're reaching out to an external environment. So this result is going to reflect that. And we're either going, if it's successful, we're going to have an option of having a ride, whether we have a ride or we don't have a ride at all. In this case, some ride or we don't have a ride at all, or we're going to have an error description, okay? Now, that's the ride query. This shouldn't compile because we have other code that already depends on this ride query, but we just changed its return type from a ride option to a result, okay? So this shouldn't compile. I'll actually be embarrassed if it does compile. Okay, and it doesn't compile right here. So, and this is what I love about strongly typed languages. I don't have to deal with this at runtime. Okay. So here's the ride right here. Ride equals, in this case, remember, this is, we went from option type of none to a result. And so right now we can say, should be able to say air, and then we should be able to say this air, should be able to say air description, which we need to import. Did this automatically import it? There, this the get ride.core. No, it did not. Okay, on that error description, and say not wait. Would say waiting on input. Right, and that's going to be our default. Okay. Now this still shouldn't compile. We have another error right there, and this is a bad bug on Visual Studio because it still hangs. We should get I think we should have another compile error right here. And so we are in our test API mock module. We're mocking a ride query. And so this should be okay. And then we give it some ride. Okay, Control Shift B, build the solution again. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's another error that we still have to handle. In the meantime, my OCD is screaming at me. Is that okay? Nah, this is fine. And so just get right over here. This is complaining about I'm missing a reference to our get ride.core. So we add a reference there. And attempt to build again. And la 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 la. Okay, so this is what we're looking for over here, right? And so let's Control KC, comments all that stuff out. And our function has been updated with OK, in which we have a say result. And that result should be, in this case, I say results and is going to be of option of a ride. So I should be able to pipe that into a function. And I should say that, yeah, this right here, this should work. Come here, Willis. And do that like that, do that like that. Come here. Okay. And so that's okay. And then the other part should be, well, we don't care about anything else. Yeah, we don't care about anything else. We could say error. Yeah, I'll say error. And la 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 la. I'll say error message, and then I'll just say fail with and that message is a type. So that still has to be extracted out. Yeah, see, that's unnecessary. We'll just say fail with, and then we'll say We won't say anything. Okay. So it should be, oh yeah, I'm missing a couple things here and here, and Control Shift B. Oh, everything must align. And everything builds. So now when I run this test, I could hit run all using the user interface, or I could do Control RT within the test itself, and that should execute the test. And hopefully it still goes green. And it's green. Okay. So this is so far an example of, first, if you look at the video I did last night, this whole exercise, right? I'm building up that muscle memory, man. Navy SEAL style. If you look at last night's video, it's first kind of type driven development, where hence if I go to operations within my specification, define my types for both the language, right? Here's the language, the terms that I use for my portal domain, right? All this right here. I flushed all this out last night. And then in addition to language, I define my operations as types. So I have graduated in my development of being a professional developer. I have graduated from doing test-driven development to doing type-driven development. And once I flesh out my types, then I transition into test-driven development, leveraging that type system, right? So I think this is okay for right now. If we look at the solution that I've defined, you like my little dashboard, I dock my test explorer to my bottom right-hand side. So far I have an app.foundation. This is going to have the infrastructure for the application that is being built, which, I mean, I don't think I'm going to actually follow through on building an entire application. But yeah, you have your core library, you have your test API, you have your UI logic. Your UI logic has stuff like a delegate command. It also needs to have like a view model base, which I haven't added in here yet. That's your UI logic. Your test API has your mock data, right? And what else? Your core. This is going to have your types and your functions that are just common across domains, such as the error description. I just implemented a slice of functionality for the portal domain, in which the first thing we want to do is we want to request a ride. And so I basically defined a specification library that I just went over that consists of a language and operations. Also within the specification folder, I define my tests. So I have get ride right here, which is what you just see me do. And in my view model, this was fleshed out from the test-driven development. Okay. And the domain, we have these converters. Okay. Generate pickup takes pickup text, or the pickup text, should I say? I don't think I need text. Let's control RR and control RR. Okay. And yeah. Now, how easy is it for me to throw this in my GitHub account? Can I add solution to source control? Okay. Okay, say that. And it's in my source control. Okay. It's in my GitHub account. So if you want to look at the source code so far, you should just be able to go to GitHub, and I don't remember. I haven't done this in a while. Oh, okay, good stuff. And okay, so what? It hasn't been checked in yet? Where's Get a Ride at? Game of Life. I don't see. Let me see. My repositories. Where is my? If I do Control \M. Yeah, all this stuff should be checked in. I don't understand this. Where did it go? How do I? Repository settings. If I refresh my browser, is it going to show up? Control F5. And I don't see it. I don't care. Whatever. I'll figure it out later. Anyways, Control Alt L, Solution Explorer. I have no clue where this thing went. Now, what else could I do? I don't know if that should be the end of the video or not. Well, we have the ride right here. This is another domain. Now, one can say, well, hell's bells, Scott. How do you handle the? If we go to our specification, we go to our tests, and there's a reason why I put tests under specification folder, because a test is a specification, right? It defines the scenarios, and someone's calling me right now. I'm recording a video. I'll call you right back. All right, bye. So I was saying that our test project, I think it should be under a specification, okay? Because a test is a specification. A test will tell you for any given operation what's required for setup, what is executed for the test, hence a method or a function. And based on that setup and that specific operation that's being invoked, what does it mean for that operation to be successful, hence the verification stage of the test. Okay, so that's why I put this portal.test under specification. So when we look at Get a Ride, providing pickup and destination results in a ride. Well, is that true? No, it's not, because there may be cases where there is no ride. Okay. Hence, if you remember that when I refactor the operations, that I have a result type, and you may have a ride, hence this option right here, a ride option, right? This error description, right? This result type means that you're not guaranteed, okay? So if you're not guaranteed, then we probably need to have a test that accounts for that. Well, what happens when you don't have a ride? What happens? Well, there should be a message that's reflected to the client that a ride wasn't available or something to that extent. Okay. So I don't know if I have the energy. It's Sunday morning. I want to get on my motorcycle and ride. But like providing pickup at the destination, um, doesn't result in a ride, doesn't always result in a ride. And I mean, this testing could be worked on, but we have the same setup, okay? And what we want to do is the destination may be okay, but our pickup probably is a good candidate to update. And so let some say some I could say invalid location, some unsupported location equals. And let me think of a popular. Let me think of somewhere that people won't go. Okay, so I'll go to Google Maps. I'm enjoying myself, man. This is therapeutic. I'll go to Google Maps, and I'm born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, but I live in Miami, Miami Beach. Oh yeah, like this is where I live at. I live in Miami, Miami Beach. Um, anyways, so what do I want to do? I want to. I like Miami, man. Miami's live, but I was born and raised in Cleveland. Okay, so let me see. What's a place that people probably won't pick you up at? Say is I could uh, let me see hilltops. I say Noble. Ah, people laugh at me. Noble Road. Come here. Oh, shoot. Noble Road. Why is it so hard? Noble Road. And we'll say East Cleveland. Okay. Noble Road, East Cleveland. Ah, yeah. Okay. So Noble Road, East Cleveland. And yeah, we'll maybe Neela Park. No, no, we'll leave it at Noble Road. Okay. At first, I was thinking Huff, but we'll leave it at Noble. So, but then again, this isn't. These houses actually look nice. I don't think that's East Cleveland. Let's change it to Huff. Oh, hold up. No, I lived. I spent the summer in college. Well, when they kicked me out of college, I spent my summer. I thought it was 100 and what was it? 133rd and 127th in Superior. 127th and Superior. Superior. Um, I was over here. That's not it. or was it called Howard? Howard. And it's not going to recognize that. Anyways, enough with the maps. Let's say let's say Huff, whatever. Let's say Ace 100th and Huff. Okay. And all this stuff is Cleveland. And okay, so I like to deviate. Come here. This mock sum location is mock sum unsupported location. Okay. Okay, Willis. And we can build that, and that should be green because we just added it. Okay. Now, what we are going to expect is we have to finagle this logic so that we will get an okay, right? But I see an issue. Hold up. My OCD is taking over. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Okay. Then maybe I could scoot you back. No, no, you nope, nope, nope. Okay. So let me see. Something like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So in our control MO collapses everything. We just only care about this right here. And we have some unsupported location for pickup. And so when we say viewModel.ride, when we want to verify if we have a ride, it should still be okay. We should have a ride result, okay? But that ride result should be in reverse order. And instead, we should come here. Instead, we should have none, and that's going to pass, my friend. Yes. And the sum, well, that should fail. And we should do a fail with like that. Okay. If it errs, well, it shouldn't err. We should still get back something. An error is kind of like an exception, right? And yeah, we don't want exceptions. I would argue that we don't want exceptions at all. Even when we are reaching out to the external world for data, I think that we should really be careful what an exception is. And yeah, the libraries that we depend on, they're going to have exceptions, right? But the more I delve into or subscribe to chaos engineering, like for the libraries that you depend on, it's okay for them to have exceptions. But I think that if you're really a student of chaos engineering, I think there are no exceptions, and that fault tolerance is part of the story that you should plan for. That's on a side note. Okay. So how do we finagle this? Okay. If I hit Control RT, it should compile, but this should now fail. This test right here, providing pickup and destination doesn't always result in a ride. Okay. Hence this some unsupported location. All right. And this fails right here. Okay. So now what? Well, I'll tell you. Let me see. this request.execute, and if I do F9, we set a breakpoint right there. Control RT, we'll run this test in debug mode. And if I step through this using F11, request ride, and we say execute, then we have over here a query, and that query is from up here. Ride query is this right here. Well, how do I get to the implementation details of this ride query? Well, it's in my mock. And so we have this right here. Okay, Willis. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So this ride query, we have a valid result, right? We're not only do we have a valid result, but we're returning some ride. Okay, I love engineering that. So now what we want to do is, for that particular test, we want to inject a query that yields no ride at all. Okay, and so we say we say right. We'll say negative, or we can either say negative or non-favorable. I'll say non-favorable ride query. Okay, I like the term non-favorable. When I received my security clearance, my understanding is they told the manager that I had that in the case of Scott Nimrod's security clearance, he is favorable. So non-favorable ride query, okay? And so this is going to be okay, but it's not going to return anything, okay? So we can say none, like that. Yes, okay? Non-favorable ride query, okay? So if we go back to our test, then we have our mock ride query, but then we have our non-favorable ride query, okay? Then we go Control-Shift-B. Come here. That should compile. And once it compiles, then we'll run this test using Control-RT. You should compile, Mendejo, okay? And that compiles. Okay, good stuff. Do Control-RT. And my friend, you should pass, okay? We'll go ahead and run that. And you should be green, my friend. Yes. That's why I love TDD, because things just fall into place, right? You already have a destination. You set that in stone, you do test-driven development. You already have a destination. You set it in stone when you do test-driven development. And the only thing you're responsible for is the process of getting there, okay? So now what? Well, there's something. That's it for right now. I'm going to end this video. There's something I just wanted to go to right now, or refactor, is I can just get rid of this execute method right here. And come here, Willis. And I could just do something like this. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. And everything should still build. Everything should still go green. Yeah, man. Like F sharp, you know? Hold up. My OCD. Hold up. Yes. Okay. Good stuff. And I like it. I like the code that I write. It's beautiful. It's structured. Shout out to Dennis Omler. Yes, you showed me the way. And then shout out to the F sharp gurus that have also helped me. Mark Seaman, Scott Vlashin, and Tomas Petracek, however you say his name. Like, I don't know if they agree with my philosophy of specification as a library, but they really helped me, man. They helped me on my journey, and I'm really thankful for that. So, being the best developer I could be, just doing these exercises, building up that muscle memory, and yeah, okay. So, checking this in, I have no clue where this is going because it's not showing up on my GitHub, but added add what? I added a wonder if it's not showing because it's not marked as public. Added non favor. I can't spell favorable. Uh, result to requesting ride. I don't know, something like that. Non-favorable result test for requesting ride. No, hold up. No, before I check that in, what did we really solve? Well, we solved that we didn't solve anything. We basically just, for the sake of code coverage, handle when a result doesn't yield anything. And so what I probably should have done, and I'll probably do it in the future, I don't think I have the gas in me right now, or the fuel in me right now, is to ensure that a message is displayed, or a message is provided saying, a ride doesn't exist. So do I really want to take the time to do that now? I let me see. Operations, ride option. And I think the ride option is still okay. This right here, your view model is going to be responsible for providing a message to the user. In the case of this test specifically, I think this logic handles it, right? It doesn't always result in a ride. Another test would be providing pickup and destination doesn't always result in a ride, but yields message or communicates. Providing pickup and location, providing not supported pickup. Yeah, maybe that's what we want to do. Not supported pickup. I did that in the wrong part. Providing non-supported pickup doesn't result in a ride. Doesn't result in ride. Okay. And so that test is fine. Another test would be, and this one, I don't think I want to do in this video, all right, because I think it requires a little bit more thought, is we basically want a message to be communicated. So when you think about the stages of a test, set up, test, verify, when the request gets executed, we want to, in this case, we want to verify that not the ride, but a message gets displayed. no ride. Oh, Scott, you're so smart. Available. Okay. Should equal true. Okay. This property isn't defined yet. Communicates no ride available. Okay. So there's no ride available. This hasn't been defined yet. So we go to our request and we'll go ahead and in our, we'll just copy paste inheritance. And over here, we'll say no ride available, or for better English, maybe we could say ride not available, right? To be kind of search, encourage better searchability. Okay. And so ride not available, that's going to be of type bool. We'll let ride that is available is ride available. And this is mutable. Okay. Mutable. Yes. Okay. Equal false. Yes. Here, my keyboard equals false. Yes. And OCD. Yes. Okay. So is ride available. That should probably be. Now, should that be a bool or should that be a message? Well, you think that UI is going to be attached to this view model, or it's going to depend on this view model. So through data binding, if we use some type of XAML framework or technology, then this could be communicated in the UI with some type of theme, colors, etc. So we'll change ride not available to is ride available, something like that. And we'll say, come here, do this right here. And okay. And OCD says that I need to make everything aligned. Yes, come here. And OCD says I need to make everything aligned. Yes, come here. Yes. Okay, so gross. This ride not available should really be is ride available. And we'll let our data binding interpret that into some type of user interface experience. Control Shift B, he should build Bendejo. Okay, and come here. This right here, this should build. When we run the test, it should fail because we haven't really set this, right? We haven't set this is ride available. And so if I run this, if I do Control RT, then this should fail. And it fails. All right, so how do we make this pass? Willis, how do we make this pass? Okay, well, I'll tell you. Okay, so right here, request a ride. This is this right here. Let me see. This ride, that should still execute. Okay. But what we also want to do is we probably want to say, we'll leave that. Okay. And then we'll say x dot ride, and we'll do function. Okay, and then we'll just reference our test, and our test from up here had this right here. Okay, and so we'll leverage the code that we already wrote, and we'll put this, we'll get rid of this right here. And if it's okay, we know if it's okay, then we're going to set how do we do this? We'll set x dot is write available. First of all, let's be favorable. Okay. So we'll do something like this. Come here. And so we'll say x dot is write available, and that will be true. Okay. And if it's none, then we say x if write is available equals false. Okay. Well, Sky, you're so smart. Okay. So we have that right there. And since we already have a long function up here, then is it really that bad to extend this out like that? Oh, I love this. Okay. And so now that should sum true, false. That should work, my friend. So if we go back to get ride test, providing non-supported pickup doesn't result in ride. Yeah, all this stuff should still pass. Is ride available? Providing non-supported pickup communicates no ride available. This should be false. Okay. And we'll go ahead and copy this test so that when the ride is available, providing, let me control MO, collapse, providing supported pickup or providing supported pickup communicates ride available. Okay. This should be true. Okay. Control MO. Let's run everything. And I have a feeling that everything should be green now. And if it's not green, then I'll be very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. So what's wrong with this? Providing supported pickup communicates ride available. Ah, I got a feeling. Okay, so this should be green because I was still putting in a unsupported location for our viewModel.pickup, and it still fails. Why is this failing? The right is available equals true. No, you should work now. ViewModel is right available should equal true. Okay. Everything else was false, but this should be true. Why aren't you true? I'm gonna run you one last time because I don't believe you. And so that still fails. Okay. So let's figure out why. Let's go back to our view model and let's just, if it's okay, then we'll just set a breakpoint right here. How do I do this? Okay. Some location. Oh, I know why. This right here. Mock is no longer mock non-favorable query. It's mock ride query. Okay. And now if I run everything, so I still had injected a non-favorable ride query in my view model, and that was causing it to fail. Which means that it doesn't really matter if I have unsupported destination or a supported destination, as long as I have this ride query or non-favorable ride query, is going to really dictate if a ride is available or not. So, anyways, everything is green, and commit that. There's no remote repository configured. Publish this repository to shave. Oh, okay, okay. And I'm publishing I don't know if that did anything. Call it get ride, publish. I mean, it's doing something, right? I don't get an immediate error. Is this asking me for anything else? Publish to GitHub. The calling thread cannot access the object because of a different thread. Oh wow. Okay, so it was pushed. So now if we go back to GitHub, and I hit F5, repository should be updated to 8. Control F5, and it's still not showing up. I see it on the web. And why is this on visualstudio.com? Anyways, that's interesting. So this is on why is this not on GitHub? It's on Azure DevOps. Oh, because it's Visual Studio Team Services. Well, I don't want to be on Team Service. How do I do this? I want this to be on GitHub. How do I put this on GitHub? I don't know how to do it. Anyways, that's it. I'm out. Peace. Adios.